We got our audible. All right. This is really right now.
It's not even working. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 1 of the Student Media Podcast. I am your co-host, Deacon Tuttle, joined by the wonderful, the exuberant.
I'm Evan Couch. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed.
Yeah.
It's the two of us. It's the two stooges on the microphones talking about student media here at Central.
I mean, you got a new background this time.
Oh, I got
You're in a different
multiple
location.
backgrounds. I can flip through these real quick. I'll show you what I'm working with here. I can blur it. I mean, it's the same. It's the same as before, but the thing that's really new here, aside from these backgrounds, if you haven't noticed, these are Central backgrounds, and those come courtesy of our now licensed Zoom account.
Yeah, Central sponsored our Zoom here.
No.
kidding.
Don't. You can't say that. I don't know
I
if that's true or not. We might
It's
get in
not.
trouble for that. But yes, welcome back, everybody. Excited to be back. Ready for new things to come this quarter. We got a lot of big stuff planned, and a lot of that big stuff is also coming from our sister and brother student media outlets such as CNW, which we are representing, and of course the Observer with editor-in-chief Catherine. Very happy to have you again.
Thank you for having me back. You were saying you're the two stooges with the student media podcast, and I was like, the student media podcast just came into my head.
That's a good one. Guys, we just spent the last 30 minutes pitching all these things. Not actually, but we're trying. This is our ongoing arc. We do little subplots here on this show, and this is still one that needs to be completed as our rebrand for that, and that could be the title.
I don't know where my pen and paper went. I have to write it down.
It's like,
that was more of a joke, but if you end up using it, I support it. I feel like our whole lives are just one big newsroom.
I have to. Am I gonna have to like cut you in on none of the profits we make?
Oh, Dad, you just stole my joke.
I'll come back and sue you later, feeling upset and angry, like in 20 years from now when you're millionaires.
Same
Perfect.
way.
That's how you cash in big.
That's it. That's the plan.
All right, I'll write down right now 5%, and we can negotiate. Because it takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of money to run a broadcast like this. I mean, look, I'm sitting on top of a building in Ellensburg right now.
I know you had to learn how to fly for this job.
Exactly. Catherine, what's new with you? How are you feeling about this quarter?
Ooh, that's a question. Oh, I'm feeling good about it. I'm excited to come into my second quarter. I think fall was intense. It was a lot of like fast-paced energy. It was nice to have you on the staff at the time. We'll miss you, but it's good to come back and see a lot of new faces, new reporters, including Deacon. We swapped out an Evan for a Deacon.
Yep.
So we've got all the student media podcast support. We appreciate. We're excited to continue like the Title IX stories. We're excited to just continue.
That's big.
Yes.
Without getting too much into that, has there been more things uncovered with that? Like, is there still more information trickling in and more people coming out saying things?
Right now, I'm actually working on I've been working on this story since we were in DC. So I've been working on this story for like a month and a half, 2 months, because it was an ongoing case at the time. So it was in the appeals period when I started being reached out to by complainants and witnesses in the case, the Learning Commons case. And so we've kind of been waiting to see, should we wait for the records request to come through till we can actually get the official copy of the case from HR, or what should we do, And so you'll find out what we end up doing here soon, but we're working away on this. We're going to have to reach out to the Student Press Law Center about it this week. And it's been a wild ride because I've never really gotten to work on such an intense type of story before. Cats Against Assault and Learning Commons kind of came out at the same time. They did their protests. So I'm working on going through the Learning Commons case right now. And there are other cases that we might be able to cover in the future. Ideally, I would love to be able to talk to more people, or if we can, have people feel comfortable enough to come talk to us about their situations. I know there are a lot more cases that I would really love to uncover information about.
I might have asked you this before, but how do you get into the headspace to write, stories like that? Because you're getting information and you're getting, a lot of firsthand accounts of things that obviously involve Title IX accusations, and it's tough, right? Like, so especially going from last quarter where you worked on it, you're still working on it this quarter, and you're still uncovering new information. How do you just emotionally keep that same mental capacity to keep going and keep looking into it, because it's a story that needs to be told, right? So is that something that drives you?
Yeah, there are ups and downs. I feel very privileged that people feel comfortable enough to speak with me about it, or to speak to the
Absolutely.
about it. And so I just stay in the headspace of holding space essentially for their stories, right? Because that's the most important thing to me, is the people that are coming forward and talking about the ways they feel they've been wronged. And then it's really, really interesting to be able to like look at an actual case. It's like super interesting to me. So I just stay focused on, what are people telling me, and how can I be a mouthpiece for what people are telling me in an unbiased way. How can I look at this from multiple sides of the situation? Because it can be emotional, or maybe I do have bias, right? Like maybe I agree with some of the sources, but then I have to like examine that and think, how would I feel if I was on the opposite side of this, and how would I want to be treated? And so I'm learning as I go. I get a lot of advice from Jen on it, honestly. So she helps get me in the headspace. And as far as talking about like tough topics, it's just something, just come at it authentically and allow yourself to feel. Like even some of the people that at the conference that were presenting, talking about trauma-informed, trauma-based work, we're talking about, sometimes you might cry with a source. I didn't during either of these stories, the one about Cats Against Assault or the Learning Commons, but there are moments when you can be human and kind of like break that wall down and be vulnerable. And it allows other people to feel like they can do the same and they can share more with you. So in an investigative story, I almost feel like you need to be formal. You need to come in with as much research as you possibly can have, but also in a way humble and open to whatever you're experiencing, whatever they're experiencing. And if you can talk to people like they're your friend, that really helps get people comfortable to talk to you.
And that's huge, right? I mean, people see journalists as kind of just like emotionless robots who are just doing their job and just asking questions. And there's a gray line where you have to be able to distance yourself from the material and the story that you're working with, and the research and the resources going into it. But at the same time, you have to show empathy, and you have to show a little compassion for these people who are opening up to you and telling really difficult details about difficult things going on in their life. And stories like this that you're breaking now and that we've broken in the past, as well as our other outlets, with the mental health stuff from Pulse in the magazine, and just some of the big stories that are broken on Central News Watch that we're kind of learning about now as Deacon and I are enrolled in Central News Watch. It shows that student media at Central are credible and real journalistic outlets. They're breaking real stories and they're telling real stories that's really important that people should know about. And I think that's something that, students who are involved in student media should be proud of. And, they should feel like they're being taken seriously, because I feel like people who are reading these stories and getting into it are starting to see that as well, and have seen that in the past for a long time now.
Absolutely. I think it's an incredible honor to be able to work in student media at Central, because I feel like there's a legacy before us of people who have done a really good job uncovering hard truths like that. And even some of the professionals at the media conference we went to a couple months ago were saying they feel like student journalists are more on top of it than they even are, because they're comfortable. They already have jobs. They've already been in the workforce for a while. And student journalists are hungry.
They can get lazy.
They have to do things more properly because they're being watched and overseen, and they're learning still. And so they want to prove themselves like that. So I do really think there's a lot of credit that should be given to student journalists. And even some of these stories are not things that local news outlets would want to cover, right? Because I started freelancing for the Daily Record a couple months ago. I've done a handful of pieces, maybe 6, not a ton. But I offered the Cats Against Assault piece to them, and they were not loving it. They weren't loving it's not that they didn't like the story, is that they didn't like the idea of having anonymous sources, which was interesting to me because I think that can be some of the best stories.
Yeah.
And then I think they just don't love touching on like super controversial topics at this local news outlet, the Daily Record. From what I can tell, maybe that's not it. Maybe that was just the anonymous source thing, but I just was it was curious to me that they didn't want that, because I thought that was like huge news on campus, right? There were like surrounding news outlets that were, the Seattle Times reached out to them. I don't know that anything ever came of that, but like the same day that I was covering it, they also got reached out to by the Seattle Times. So it was just kind of an interesting thing to see who's interested, who might not be, and for what reasons you maybe don't know fully, but you can speculate.
Yeah, I think that's something really cool. What?
I was just going to say, just for people who don't know, the Daily Record is Ellensburg's local newspaper.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I think something that's really cool, like with all these kind of topics, like I guess the way to synthesize it, I would say, is that student media is an awesome opportunity for people that are brand new and then or people that have been around for a really long time to just tell the stories that need to be told by people that genuinely want to do it, that are part of campus, and they have the freedom and the coaching and the flexibility by people that have done it before and are awesome faculty to like help get that process rolling. And it's so quick and effective, and clearly it has like a genuine impact on people. Just like even the other day, like as Evan stated, we're in Central News Watch now, and we found out about a story that broke sometime last year, and in just the course of like one day, 800 followers were gained, and that was
Yep.
like accurate reporting and all done by students, and then it just keeps piling up the numbers on Facebook. So I think it's really cool, the opportunity that's always presented with these classes.
Yeah, that was the according to Terry, our faculty advisor for Central News
Terry.
Watch, as we've had on before. Everybody knows Terry. That was during the incident where there was reports of an active shooter on campus here at Central. What was that, back in 2018, 2019, I believe, 2018, I think. And yeah, essentially she just said that everyone was kind of locked down in place on campus because there was reports of an active shooter on campus. But the whole time, they were student media members of Central News Watch at the time who were on campus, were in the safe places that they were, and they were sending out tweets and things like that, and using Facebook just to keep people updated on what they were seeing, what they had going on, and it was causing a legitimate following of, you know, the nearby area, and people who wanted to keep up with what was going on were following those tweets and following those reports on Facebook until it was all said and done. And Terry said by the end of the night, what, they had 2,300 more followers or something like that. I mean, my numbers might be off, but this was all.
Yeah, I got the dates wrong, and then you got the numbers switched around, but it's all right.
Yeah,
So-
that's what we do. Student media. We
yeah.
Media.
I'm
But yeah,
not going to put
The
ourselves in
point
those shoes.
stands.
I'm not going to put ourselves in those shoes. I was just about to make a joke about how we would react in that situation, but I don't know. So we'll see. But
No,
yeah,
that's
I mean,
amazing, though, to hear how many followers were gained in one day. That's actually quite groundbreaking, honestly.
yeah, it's credible. We're credible. You know, we're not biased. We're not doing anything that was going to hurt ourselves or the image of the school, but at the same time, we're putting out reliable news, and that's something that I think student media should be proud of.
Absolutely. I mean, you should be proud, and I feel proud to be able to be part of it. And I know PR is happy with what we're doing. Like, I had a meeting with Andrew Morse the other day, and he was like, wow,
Nice.
your paper's great. You know, he came from a different university, and he says theirs was nothing like that. And he's really impressed with what we're doing, which, I mean, that applies to you too, since you were in the class last quarter. And it was just nice to hear that feedback from PR and to have that like really good relationship with PR this quarter, whereas last quarter I know there was kind of a divide. Like, I wrote a budget story, and I heard the former VP of public affairs like went into CNW, I think, and was talking about how this was like bad for the school. So sometimes it looks like that student media is sort of opposed to the school, opposed to the administration, opposed to the entire operation of Central in general. But in actuality, we're trying to shed light on the issues. We're trying to make people feel like they have a voice who might otherwise be silenced. You know, of course, the administration is going to say everything's fine at any time that they can, but other people are saying the opposite. And I think it's really important to highlight those voices. And that doesn't necessarily mean that we're not on the side of PR or on the side of the administration, because I really am so grateful for the opportunities afforded to us by Central. Like, without the administration, we wouldn't have the paper truly,
Yeah.
or the funding.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I think, yeah, the distinction between, you know, what's right and what's just and what needs to be done versus that doesn't automatically mean that we're just out to get our campus or the faculty involved. It's just about calling people up to do the right thing, and then we're using the means with the, you know, freedom of speech and press that we have. With the
Look,
First
the
Amendment.
only thing I'm opposed to when it comes to this campus and it comes to the school's administration and this media department and things like that is that student media is only worth 3 credits.
Oh
I've been
gosh, can we
barking up
talk
that
about
tree
that?
for I've been barking up that tree for a little while now, but I'm not going to get into it because I don't want this podcast to get shut down. So
I will say, if you're in leadership for Observer, you can get more than 3 credits. I currently have 6 credits, I believe.
As you
But-
should.
Thank you. But other than
wait,
that,
you mean
I-
like for 1 quarter?
yeah.
What?
I'm it's only available to like leadership positions, like staff positions. I
I
didn't know
was in a staff, but no one
I
told me
guess
that.
I got last quarter, Evan, 3. So don't quit your yapping. No, I'm kidding. I would have gotten you in on this if I had known, or
Flip
if you
that.
were the team. Yeah,
You see what I mean? They're not telling us that on purpose, and there's a reason for it. I say we break a story, you get on the phones right now, and we start figuring out why it is they're withholding this information from us.
every investigative piece you do is an extra credit. There you go.
Wow.
It'd be worth it.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm breaking any investigative pieces in Central News Watch this quarter. Sorry about it. I just
can see that.
I'm almost done. I'm almost done. So I guess I'll just leave it for the next guy to deal with the problem, you know?
Go get in on Deacon's story about the Nicholson and how basketball is going to be playing there soon. I'm just
Go for that one.
bored by that.
He's already got help with that one though.
Yep.
Okay.
He's got our man Trey on it.
Yeah, no, but you could do it for a different outlet, and then we could use some of your videos or something. Like if you guys ever want to cover it for your other outlet, we could work
That
together.
is true. That is true. The cross
Cool.
promotion is what is what Jen really likes. Jen
Mhm.
likes the cross promotion, and I also like it as well.
Go
Speaking
on
of,
and go into Nicholson and find out.
yeah,
what's-
I have a hard hat and I have a vest for my summer job. So if I throw those things on and I just walk in there, I throw my boots on, my Carhartt pants, no one's gonna say a word to me. I think I'll fit right in.
by the power invested in you. Find out what's
Yeah,
going on.
invested,
Wow.
safety vest. OSHA.
This is for sure the most student mediaized I've been. I'm gonna coin that term, because now I'm co-hosting this with you, Evan. I'm writing for Observer with you, Catherine, and we're doing Central News Watch finally together, Evan. That's another one of our subplots that's finally paid off, is that we're in that class. But with
It's the culmination of everything coming together. We are in
Yeah.
Central News Watch. It has happened. And I wanted
Because-
to talk about that real quick because I'll check that off the list once I'm going through and I'm putting in the timestamps for everything in this episode. And possibly our guest who may or may not appear.
Can
I'm
we
gonna
just
give
put
a
a fake Noah in here and pretend he was here?
I could.
Oh,
I might be
he's
able.
been name dropped.
It was Noah. The guest was Noah, editor
Oh
in
my
chief for
gosh.
Pulse.
No way.
No way. I think there's no way he's going to show up at this point, but I'm still holding out for hope.
We'll carry on.
So CNW, we're in there now. For those of you who don't know what CNW is, it was shut down last quarter, obviously, because they didn't have enough people to essentially run the class and make it work. CNW is also one of our very credible news sources on campus. And they focus more on broadcast news. So stories that you would see like when you're watching the news and the anchor comes on TV and he flips to a reporter or a story that they did, and you see like different kind of B-roll shots and voiceovers of what's going on in the story, stuff like that. In the past, they have done live broadcasts that go out on the radio, as well as a channel that I don't remember. Terry told us about, and she said it's mainly for the olds. So it's for the grandparents who want to watch and stuff like that. But CNW is a credible news source, and we put out. I guess I can say we now. We put out legitimate stories, just like all of our other ones. So what that entails for Deacon and I so far, we're gonna find out. We had our first story pitches. We're learning a lot already, so I guess we'll have to just get back to that. But yeah, Deacon and I are in there now. We're chopping it up and we're figuring things out and downloading Adobe Premiere Pro for free. So that's my biggest thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, we're getting to play around with all these different softwares and looking at what broadcast scripts are like compared to, we've done some broadcast writing before, but seeing the software and looking at that, and it's like you open it up and it's all this computer coding and it's like, what is going on right now? I did not sign up for a math class. That was my first thought.
It's
But,
completely different. It's completely different. It's more it's like see, don't tell, and then tell what you see, as opposed to writing for a magazine or writing for like article writing. You got to kind of you have to hold the reader's hand, because you have to explain everything to them because they can't see it. They're not there talking to the people. You have to make sure you're giving them all that information. Whereas with this, you're showing them, you're showing them what's happening, and you're giving small little bits of context that have to kind of guide them along. And it's really about the visuals, which is what I'm learning, and I'm excited to see if I can pull that off, because I have some ideas for the stories that I want to do this quarter, and we'll just see if they come to fruition.
Yeah, it's a lot of setup and payoff, I think, compared to other forms of media in terms of that, and just the timing of things and how you want to deliver your message is very meticulous, because you only have so much time. And with the other forms of writing, obviously you're on deadlines, but it's a lot more, you can rewrite and then go back to it. But sometimes these TV scripts just got to go, and that's kind of what Terry always says, is that it's never ready to go, but you got to launch it.
I also feel like there's more creativity involved a little bit, because with writing an article for the Observer, it found it was really structured because it had to be, because you had to be professional, you had to be credible, you had to make sure that you were hitting all the right notes, especially if you're writing like a news story as opposed to like a sports story or a scene story. Whereas this, it can be news, but at the same time you can kind of take some creative liberties with it in terms of the shots that you use, in terms of the methods of following the script and whatnot. Obviously I haven't done it yet, so I'm not 100% sure, but just from what I've experienced in the past, it seems like there's a little more creative liberty involved.
Yeah. And yeah, the cool thing is that we get I guess build upon classes that we've taken in the past with Terry, which would be, the visual storytelling, which is getting the more figuring out how to deliberately make everything work together, and then actually writing everything. So then, it's a cool opportunity that we have to, we spent the last 2 years doing this kind of stuff, and now we can see what we're made of. Hopefully it's good.
One and done. I get this one done, and I think after this quarter I'm done with all of my journalism stuff, I believe.
Nice.
So
Exciting.
we're counting down to the end. We're gonna see what assumedly better looking face replaces mine on this podcast.
Oh, man.
It sounds like a really cool class, actually. Like, you're making me want to take CNW, which is unheard of because I hear everyone get off till the end.
Well, hey, we haven't even started yet, so I'll come back in a week and I'll tell you how it really is.
Wishful thinking.
You're gonna see like 6 cans of these sitting around my desk.
Oh yeah.
No free ads. No free ads. This is an energy drink, but you can't see what kind
not
it is.
sponsored.
Yeah. But yeah, Central News Watch. Enough about us, though. Deacon, what do you got for Catherine right now? As she's embarking on the second quarter as the editor-in-chief for the Observer.
Mm-hmm. Well, since I got the inside track and I'm in the classroom the other day, I don't know if this is something you want to keep under wraps for a bit, but it could be a cool opportunity to talk about. You said that you're adding a new what?
What are you doing? Are you trying to expose something here?
No. It's great. It's great news. It's exciting. I think you're trying to add a new section in the paper, and I wanted to know if you wanted to talk about that or okay, sweet, awesome.
I do want to talk about. You're talking about Captivities, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Our engagement page. It was formerly known as an engagement page. It used to be on like the very back page. And we have a back page all hammered out. So we're going to have a Captivities section. This week's issue, it's now on newsstands everywhere, so go check it out, is in page 2. We have page 2, Captivities at the bottom. There's a word search. There's a jellyfish photo that I love. And then going forward, we're going to try to do like a whole page. If we have a 12-pager, we'll do a whole page of engagement. And if we have an 8-pager, we'll probably just do a section. It's called Captivities. And it should be a good time. So if you have any reader submitted art that you want to send in, you can send it to cwobserver@gmail.com. We accept photos, poetry, drawings, digital drawings, or drawings that you can at least put on the computer. Word puzzles, comics, if you want to draw like a hand-drawn, handwritten comic, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I got comic scripts.
Oh yeah, we would love to have that from you, Deacon. We could take on Captivities all day.
Deacon, you should make like a little comic each week. I mean, what, just like three pictures?
I'm not the artist, man, but I got scripts. So if anybody ever wants to doodle with me, let me know.
Yeah, we'll try to find more artists. Honestly, we're always on the lookout for artists for our graphic design team.
Totally, that's awesome.
I can't take those creative liberties. I'm sorry, I'm not an artist. I painted a couple cool things in high school, but that's about where it capped out at.
That's pretty cool. I have show you one of my paintings. I'm not really an artist either, but I do love to paint.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
You see, I couldn't even do that. And it seems like it's simple, but it's not, because I could not make something that looks that cool.
It was just a lot of steepling, I think it's called, where you just press the brush in over and over, and I just layered it for hours. So it did take hours, but it didn't require a lot of technical ability. It was more just a fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which is why we have Captivities, really. Sorry.
Very side story here. Sorry to cut you off.
No, do it.
From my high school, he was the art teacher my freshman year of high school, and he taught my older brother, who's 10 years older than me, who went to the same high school. His name is Ben Miller. If you guys ever get the chance, look him up. He quit. He retired from school. He was I want to say he was maybe late 40s when he retired. So I only had him for 1 year. He retired and he moved to Montana with his brother, and he was a big fly fisherman. he moved to Montana with his brother, and he started doing fly cast paintings where he would take his fishing pole and the line, and he would use the fly casting technique where they're fly fishing to paint, and he would paint murals of the rivers that he was at with his pole.
Wow, that's so
And
neat.
he's
love
gotten so big, like super big from it, because he's like the only one who practices that technique. He's still in Montana. He sells his pieces for a lot of money. He actually just came out with like a collaborative design with a designer in New York on some streetwear clothing with his designs. And he was selling this jacket. I saw the company that they were mixed with. It was like a heavy, nice like rain jacket. It's like $150 for retail, and I saw them reselling for way more than that. So he broke big with this cool thing. And now that I'm thinking about it, he's not really related to media, but that'd be kind of a cool guy to come on and tell his story.
There you go.
He used to comment. He used to be like the PA announcer at our football games too, along with our art teacher. Because in Darrington, that's just how it is. Everyone does everything like that. So, but yeah.
How's
So
everyone
Deacon,
in Darrington going?
oh,
How's everyone in Darrington? How's your do you still do the football?
yeah,
like-
yeah. We
Yeah.
had our banquet for the last season in December over winter break, so that was fun. And then they made it to the playoffs this year. First year going to the playoffs since my senior year.
Wow.
So that was not 5. Geez, really aging myself there. 4 years ago.
Oh, you were so old.
So old. 4 years ago. Best record that our teams had since like I want to say maybe 2009, like 2008.
That's a celebration right there.
Yeah. So lost the first round of the playoffs, but young team, really young team. We got there with a lot of freshmen and sophomores and a couple seniors. So big things to come with that.
That's
great.
awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can't wait to get back to it and see what we got going next summer once we start back up again.
Maybe you'll make even more records. I could see it happening.
Hopefully. I don't know. People don't really keep track of the records in Darrington. So it's all kind of just like mental. Like if you can remember it, then that was about it.
That's fair.
Yeah. Well, with Noah not here, can't really cover anything going on in Pulse at the moment. Just from a bird's eye view with what Deacon and I see going on in there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, we're in there right now. We're just kind of there hanging out. We're designing stuff on our own end for
Mhm.
the magazine, or not the magazine, for the podcast, obviously involved with the magazine. But I mean, Deacon, you had experience writing in there in the past, it's like, one thing with Pulse right now to look forward to is there is probably 28 students in there, it seems like.
There's a lot of people in that class.
Yeah,
and
the staff is big, and not to
that's
mention
the thing I
not
was
just the
gonna talk
staff.
to
Yeah,
you
the
about.
reporters, the designers, it's big. There's a lot more students in there this quarter.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask him, like what it was like, because there's a lot of continuity moving over from the last quarter, which is exciting because most of those people last quarter were brand new, so they have
There's
that
experience,
there's
yeah.
experience now, but there's also so many new people too. So I was gonna ask what that's like balancing as well as his second quarter as EIC. So
What are the numbers looking like in Observer this quarter, Catherine?
It's pretty similar to last quarter. We have a handful of new people though. I think we have about like 10 staff reporters plus editorial staff. So we're pushing on up to 20 people in the class, which for Observer is a decent amount. Honestly, we have this last year, 2021, between fall and winter, it felt like we lost all of our staff reporters, and I was one of the only people writing at that point. And so I'm glad that we've maintained some of the people from last quarter, and I'm glad we've gotten new people in to learn how to write with us and to bring some new energy into the room. So I love the staff that we have this quarter. I thought it was going to be like 5 people, so I'm really grateful we have 10 staff reporters.
Talk about your weekly segments with Dave on Big Dave Heartless on the radio at 88.1 The Berg. You go on there, right? I was doing that last quarter too, but what's your experience with that been like? Like, are you enjoying that? Has anything changed from last quarter to this quarter?
Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving waking up at 8 in the morning now that you're not doing it for me, Evan. Thanks a lot. No, I went on yesterday, and it's so awesome. Such a great opportunity. I love talking to Dave. He's easy to talk to. We just talked about our issue, which the main front page was memorial articles for those who have passed over the winter, Shelley Spencer and Dr. Stephanie Stein. And some stories about accessibility, a couple stories about like different organizations in town that are sort of like nonprofit charitable organizations that are dealing with financial insecurity in town and on campus. So I just went on and basically did that a little longer than what I just did with Dave. And it's been good so far. It was great last quarter and I'm excited to continue it. I want to bring some of the other editors into the fold so that they can get a taste of it. Cause I think it's good to learn those skills, like how to represent an organization and how to be on air. I guess it's not live on air. We can re-record it with Dave. So I'm grateful for that because we've had to do that a couple times.
I went in there last quarter and we recorded one. Him and I were we were just talking, we were just hanging out for like probably 10 minutes before we actually got recording. And then we started the recording and it was only like a probably 2-minute recording, which is usually what they are. We went back and forth, got done. He looks at me with just this blank stare on his face. And then he's like, none of that recorded. None of that recorded. And I was like, what? He said, yeah, none of it. No, the microphones were not on. None of it recorded. He's like, so we got to do it again. And I was like, all right, let's do it again. So we did it again. And then, he changed up the questions a little bit just for some continuity and whatnot and get done. And he's like, you're not going to believe this. None of that recorded either.
No.
I thought he was
What?
joking. I thought he was joking. He's like, no, I'm being dead serious right now. He's like, your microphone was not on. He's like, you were supposed to be talking into this microphone, but I didn't realize that was the one. He's like, so we got to try it again. So we do it one more time, and then we have to stop halfway through because something else went wrong. And then he was like, okay, this is the one. This is the one. And then finally, after the fourth actual try, we got it done. And I was gonna be late to Terry's class that I had at like 9:00, and he's like, yeah, that's completely my bad. He's like, if you need anything, if Terry gives you crap, just tell her, and then we'll go from there. So I was like, he's like, Terry knows me, so it's fine. And I was like, all right, thanks, Dave. Appreciate that.
That is hilarious and begrudging for sure. I'm sure that was a long 30 minutes to an hour.
Wow.
Well, I'm happy that he wants to keep doing it with us. I'm grateful that you were able to spearhead that last quarter. And,
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoy that. And that's the stuff that I want to get into. I kind of aspire this show to be a little with that,
Yeah. Are you going to do this show on 88.1 or you're saying you don't want to go in and learn the new equipment?
It's not that I don't want to go in and learn. I just don't want to take this to that whenever I feel like what we have here works. So, that's the big thing. But yeah,
At one, you'd be trapped in a box, and here you're like flying above the school. So
I know,
Exactly.
completely unhinged.
unhinged.
well,
I might
you know
go
what?
to training tomorrow to try out maybe looking at a radio show or something, but I'm a little on the fence. But it is cool, and I get very intrigued whenever I go in there to record.
That's tomorrow because I was thinking
There
about
is the
doing that
last
too.
one of the quarter tomorrow, so maybe I'll see you there. It's 11 tomorrow. I don't even know where. I'll have to look up where
It's one of the ballrooms, I'm pretty sure.
for sure.
I was gonna say if any of you guys are interested, but this isn't gonna come out by then, so whatever.
It will not.
Well, I think we've covered everything that I at least had intentions of covering with Observer and Central News Watch, just talking about little things, gave some sneak previews about possible big guests we have coming up. Maybe we'll see. We're branching out a little bit. We're trying to, at least,
New
we're
season,
trying to
branch out.
we're trying to reach new audiences before we head on out to our real lives after this at some point. Deacon might be here forever. I don't know. Deacon really likes it here.
Who's
I
to
like it
say?
here too, but
I don't know.
Well, you
Yeah.
can stay as long as you want, Deacon.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Evan, not you. Get out.
Yeah.
You gotta leave immediately.
start working on your master's program, Deacon.
Yeah. You know what? I just figured out. I just realized recently. Somebody told me it's only 2 years for a master's. Is that true?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for a lot
you
of
didn't
them.
know that?
No, I just figured everything was a doctorate. 8 years.
Are you serious?
No, I'm just joking.
Okay, good. I was like, hold on a minute. I mean, 8 years, but it might take 8 years off your life going back and doing it, but
But 2
Really
years
good.
just for the title of master's. That's it. That's pretty. That might be worth it.
it almost feels like you have to get a master's nowadays, to be honest.
You gotta do it.
Right. So
Which
true.
is, I don't want to say unfortunate, but yeah, it's the playing field is not as level as it used to be,
Mhm.
because now the master's just feels like the bachelor's, and then the bachelor's is the associate. But okay, real question though, actually, is your associate degree just something that you actually get like at the 2-year mark, or is it,
It's just a
or
high
do you-
five you get from
do you
business.
only get an associate's if you go to like community college, or how does that work? I had
think
like
That was my understanding.
so
Well, this is
technic-
okay because we just have it switched around. You know, I don't know what happens right after college, and you don't know what happens, you know, in the beginning stage.
in the middle of college.
Well,
I feel
mean,
like if the
beginning
bachelor's,
of-
sorry.
no, it's okay.
No, I was like being random. I was just gonna say if the bachelor's the new associates, I feel like the associates is the new GED. It was a super
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
We just keep going back.
oh no, what's next? The doctorate's the new master's.
Oh no, stop.
no
Everyone's
one-
gonna have a PhD. I'm gonna be Dr. Couch, Dr.
Sorry,
Tuttle.
I'm a doctor.
Yeah, Dr. Camarada. We're all doctors.
Kamatara as the
Kamatara, Katana.
Avatar.
I love that. Oh my god, I have to show you something. Just wait for 1 second. I'm sorry.
Says
Yeah, I
Camarada
just
right
got a
there.
fire sword. I'm gonna light this bitch on.
Oh, let's go.
Nah,
Edit out my cuss words.
nah.
I'm sorry. Please edit.
Is
all
that actually like an actual sword?
No,
What
it's,
is
yeah,
it?
it's a Kevlar wick on it, and so it's going to be lit on fire, and it's like a sword. Yeah.
That's
what
so
I had
Can
to
you
do.
light it on
That's
fire
my
right now for
Kamatara.
us? Can you- Come on.
Yeah, no, honestly, I'm gonna do a fire show for the class at some point, so you two are both invited. And-
Yes, I'm excited for
That's
that.
gonna be
Excited for
that's
that.
going on our
Clip
spoiler
that.
alert, we're coming out with an Instagram page.
Yep.
It was Catherine just broke it. Jeez, Catherine.
I'm excited to break the Instagram, you know.
We will see. You got to tell us though. All right,
Yeah.
that's the show.
There
That's
it
the
is.
show. I mean, that's
Season
where it
3
ends
off to a
right there.
great
I
start.
can't wait till I'm going into the files and typing in like what sections are what we're talking about, and then at the end, it's just gonna say Catherine Katana.
Fire sword.
All right. I can't thank you guys for listening enough. Can't thank you enough for listening.
You got
Catherine, appreciate you for coming on again. It's always great to talk to you.
Thank you
Deacon,
much.
anything you'd like to add?
No, I'm just happy to get this started up. You know, we got a lot of new things on the horizon. And, you know, we're happy to keep talking to our old friends and guests, and you know, we're ready to,
Possible new ones.
you know, keep doing this crossover, and you know, bring over some stories to all the different outlets, and then just, you know, excited to keep telling stories and doing what our jobs are. It's being journalists, being fair.
Yeah, it's week 2. We're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed right now, but come back in 2 weeks and it's gonna be a rough look.
Oh, get
I'll
ready for
check
that.
in on your CNW progress at that time.
Oh, please
gosh.
don't. Please don't.
Oof.
All right. Catherine, good luck as being EIC the rest of the quarter.
Thank
We will
you.
catch you guys next week, and be sure to check out the Instagram and the website for Pulse's website where we got our tab on there once those are up and running.
Yeah.
All righty. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,